So we are entering the second weekend of the Premier League, and we've got the start of what could be potentially a difficult run of fixtures. But is Arsenal really that difficult? Stick around. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Blue Pride of London. I'm your host, Nathan, and it's an absolute joy to see all of you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. So please sit down and we are going to look at this weekend's fixture up against Arsenal. But I would like to ask you, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button just down there. And if at any point you do in fact like this video, please hit the thumbs up button down there as well, because that way it makes me feel good, it makes you feel good, it takes a second out of your day, and it can potentially help others discover this video. But let's get that all out of the way and let's talk about this weekend's fixture at the Emirates against Arsenal FC. So when the fixtures came out last month, there was a lot of raised eyebrows. Yes, we had a nice easy opening game against Crystal Palace, but the next five looked to be really, really difficult. And our second game of the season is against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Now, going into what Arsenal did in their opening game, the first game of this new season, I think they went into that game with a little bit of a swagger. They're up against the new boys, and I don't think they anticipated the rush of blood to the head by Brentford, and they ended up losing that game. Arsenal looked a little bit shaky in that game. Their defence were all over the place. The long throw-in, actually, which came across for one of Brentford's goals, really confused the Gunners a little bit as well. So they might be hurting going into this game. Now, like always, especially in the last few seasons, I have walked into the Arsenal games with a lot of confidence. But I've always been disappointed with the FA Cup final and the two games that we had last season. You have to remember, we walked into the game against Arsenal at the Emirates last season with a lot of confidence. We had a good run of games just before that. Arsenal weren't performing very well, and we lost that game quite badly, if memory serves me right. And it also was a run of bad games going into what potentially became Frank Lampard's departure. But of course, we got Thomas Tuchel in, and Chelsea haven't looked back since. So are we going into this game with a lot of confidence? Chelsea should be going into this game with a lot of confidence. No ifs, buts or maybes about it. We have one of the best defences in the Premier League, especially I think going into the end of last season. Only Manchester City beat us in the majority of the stats since Thomas Tuchel took over. And obviously with the Champions League behind us, because of course we are kings of Europe, and also with the Super Cup victory in it as well. There was a little problem that we thought we were going to have against Crystal Palace with fatigue, players not being ready. There was a lot of football played over the summer by a majority of our team, but we came out with a a real tiger lion type of grrr, to make sure we looked good and we put fear amongst all the other teams in the Premier League. So going into this game, yes, I am very confident about how we can perform against Arsenal. We have just recently beat them in a pre-season friendly, and we defeat them quite well. Yes, our winning goal came from Tammy Abraham because there was a mix-up in defence. But yeah, I'm going into this game with a lot of confidence because I don't think Arsenal have fixed their problems. But for some reason, Arsenal like to play against Chelsea. They come out as a different type of team. They seem to like to beat us more than they like to beat Tottenham at the moment. So let's have a look at my prediction of what the team could look like. So yes, no surprise to the formation. I've stayed with the back three and the wing backs going up and down the side. This seems to be the way that Thomas Tuchel likes to go forward. And in goal, it's Mr. Reliable. I've stuck Mendy in there. I can't see Kappa coming in for this game. I think he is still going to be our cup goalkeeper going forward. But Mendy seems to be our proven and definite Premier League goalkeeper. So yeah, I can't see him. He's reliable between the sticks, and unless something really dramatic happens, he will definitely keep his place in goal. My back three isn't much of a surprise either. As you can see, I've kept Rudiger, Christensen, and I'm keeping Chalobah in that back three. I think he has definitely done enough to warrant another start in this Chelsea team. My wing backs, that might be a little bit of a question, really. I think Alonso, he's definitely favoured by Thomas Tuchel. He likes the sort of pace that he has up and down that wing, but maybe Ben Chilwell could feature in this. He's had a nice little bit of a rest. He's trained for a couple of weeks, so he might be a surprise sort of added fixture in this particular game. But I'm going to stick with Alonso for now. And on the other side, I've gone for Azpilicueta. He still does it well. Yeah, he's getting on a little bit. Maybe the likes of James might come in to whip some serious crosses going in the side. So I did and ah about these two sort of like wider players. I would like to see, my first choice is Ben Chilwell and Reece James. But I think with the way that they're still sort of like coming back up to fitness, coming into match fitness, that we might just see these guys start, and potentially, if we are winning the game quite comfortably, maybe Ben Chilwell and Reece James will come on later in the game. In the centre of midfield, I've gone for the reliable Kante and Jorginho. I think Kante has been rested nicely. I think he's been sort of calmed down a little bit. He hasn't started in the last game. So coming into this game is quite a good one, and is also a good game considering how much we would expect Arsenal to come out the blocks to want to win their first game of the season, as well as also beating Chelsea. And of course, you've got the ice man Jorginho next to him, who once Kante has sat there and swept to the back, Jorginho will pass the ball forward. Just in front of him, I'm going for Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz could also be Timo Werner. I'm not entirely too sure. I think they might want to see how Lukaku and Timo Werner might sort of work alongside of each other. But, Timo is, in fact, he's a forward player. And Mason Mount, I would find it almost impossible for anybody to want to drop Mason in any game at the moment. He is Mr. Chelsea through and through, and one of our players that we would definitely sort of want to keep on the pitch. Maybe Christian Pulisic could replace Havertz or Mount. We don't entirely too sure. He has done quite well, especially in the game against Crystal Palace. He scored his goal. He's firing on all cylinders at the moment. He's very confident, especially after his sort of like National Cup, Golden Cup win, I think is what it's called. Well, Gold Cup. Golden Cup or Gold Cup? Remind me in the comments. And up front, yes, I have put Lukaku up front. I think this is definitely a game that he is going to start. We want to see him in a Chelsea shirt. The fans want to see him in a Chelsea shirt. The owners want to see him in a Chelsea shirt. And we want to see if the number 9 voodoo has in fact been lifted. And if he can get like a nice little early goal, that would be sensational. Now, will he start? Will Timo start and Lukaku can come on as a late substitute? We don't really know. Again, these are all guessing and speculation, but it would be definitely interesting. So that is my predicted lineup. So how do I think the score's going to go? Now, yes, I've said there's a few doubts in my mind because Arsenal do like to play against Chelsea. They do seem to wake up a little bit, but I'm still confident that Chelsea are going to walk out here with a 2-0 victory. I think we're going to keep another clean sheet. I think Lukaku is going to score. He might even score first. I'm not entirely too sure. But I think a 2-0 victory, and then we're just going to sort of play him off the park a little bit and have a nice little bit of a fun game going forward and put a nice little bit more of a pain into Arsenal going forward. So that's my prediction. 2-0 to Chelsea, and that is my lineup. I would love to hear what you think. What's the score going to be? Do you think my lineup is correct? What would your lineup be if you had the options or the choices in this game? Please write them in the comments down there, and I look forward to reading them and chatting with you at a later date. But guys, until next time, enjoy the football as it goes on, and I will talk to you later. See you later. Bye-bye.